Hello everybody, Natalia here, and I am back with the second video in my How to Write Your Novel series. So today we're going to be talking about getting ideas, because you can't write a novel or research a novel or outline a novel or even put a word down before you have all of your ideas. Let's get started. My first step, and one of the most important in my getting ideas process, is to listen to music. A few of my novels now have been inspired by a song or a collection of songs. For example, I remember listening to the Hunger Games soundtrack laying in bed one night like 4 or 5 years ago, and I heard a song on that Hunger Games soundtrack that gave me the idea for Highborn, and Highborn was the first book that I ever finished. It was the first book I saw through beginning to end, and it was one of the most amazing moments in my writing career. So what I like to do is, as I've talked about in other videos, I like to listen to my iPod typically when I go to bed at night, unless I have something important to do the next morning, because this usually keeps me up late and then I don't get as much sleep. But if you can just listen to music when you're really at ease and you're relaxed, then it will allow you to formulate more ideas. I'm certainly a daydreamer, especially when I listen to music, so when I find a song that reminds me of a character or a scene in my book, I see that character, I see that scene, and I really can work on it and see it come to life in my head before I ever put it down on paper. So going along with this is make a playlist. I currently have 4 or 5 songs in my playlist for the novel that I'm currently writing, and whenever I feel stuck, I can go back to these songs, remember what I was thinking when I first heard them, and it really inspires me to keep moving forward. So definitely turn to music as one of your first idea givers. So definitely turn to music as one of the #1 ways to get inspiration and to get ideas, and definitely make yourself a playlist. My second tip for getting ideas is to keep a dream journal by your bed. I don't know about you, but I have very in-depth, vivid dreams, and this happens multiple times a week. I can wake up from sleeping and clearly see the scene in my head that I was dreaming about, and I can remember it for the rest of the day or days afterward because I dream in such depth. So if you're somebody that dreams actively and often, then definitely keep a dream journal by your bed so that if you wake up and you have a sudden idea, you can jot it down and not forget about it. Way of Spears was actually triggered by a dream that I had. Now, in the dream, there was a group of people, of warriors on some sort of mission, and they were climbing this icy mountaintop. And when they got to the top, the leader, he had a gun, and Way of Spears has no guns. It's set in the past. But anyway, he had a gun, and he lifted it to the sky, and he shot the gun. And for some reason, like, I can still see it. I can see the way that his hair was blowing in the wind on this mountain top, and it was icy and snowy, and that image that I dreamt about is what created all of the inspiration for Way of Spears. And if I hadn't been keeping a journal by my bed when I had that dream, then I probably would have forgotten it, and Way of Spears never would have happened. So even if you don't think that you're necessarily going to use it, just keep it there. Keep it maybe on the floor, tucked under your bed if you don't have space on your bedside table. Make sure to keep a pen or a pencil with it so that if you wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning, you can always jot down your ideas. My third tip, which kind of goes along with the dream journal, is to always carry some sort of small journal with you. This is the journal that I carry with me, and I make a bunch of notes in here. These are my notes for the video that I'm filming right now. Let's see. These are my notes for the How to Write a Novel video, and then I have a bunch of notes about the book that I'm writing right now. So I carry this around in my purse. My purse is thankfully big enough to carry this because this is a pretty big journal, so that if I get ideas when I'm in the car or I'm just out and about, I can always jot them down. I would have lost or forgotten about a bunch of really good ideas for my novel if I hadn't been carrying this around with me. Another thing you can do if you don't have a bag to carry a journal in, or you don't want to carry a journal around with you, is to use the notes function on your phone or your iPod, whatever it is that you carry around with you. I have an Android phone, and if for some reason I don't have my journal with me, I have a notepad document on my phone that I fill with all of my ideas. So whether you're using pen and paper or some sort of technology to take notes, make sure that you have something on you that you can make a note in or jot something down in right when that idea hits you, or else you're going to lose a bunch of your really good ideas. My fourth tip is to get out of the house. It is winter right now, and I am going a little bit stir crazy because I've been in the house so much lately. But what really gives me great ideas is to get out, and especially to get into nature. Now, this might be something that's just really personal to me. I get my best ideas when I'm out on an adventure or hiking. My fairy novel that I'm writing right now, I initially got my idea when I was hiking. It was a beautiful, really forested, dense, green trail, and it looked like somewhere that fairies would live, so that's what gave me my idea. It was actually very helpful for me this past weekend because my dad and I went snowshoeing. So let me show you a few clips of that right now. So definitely try to get out of the house every so often. You could go on a walk. Picante corn in my throat. You could go on a walk, go on a hike. Maybe you just like to drive around and listen to music. You could listen to your playlist that you're creating. Or if you are a people watcher like I am, then you could go to a crowded place just to watch others. I love to watch the way people interact with each other. I feel that by studying people, I am able to watch their interactions and then make the characters and the character interactions in my novel more believable and more real because I've witnessed it, I have studied it, I have watched it so many times. So if you have a favorite coffee shop maybe, or a restaurant, or a library, somewhere that you can just go and sit and the waiters aren't going to be upset that you're sitting there, then just go, take your journal with you, and see what kind of ideas you get. My fifth tip is going to be to collect images. I am a very visual person. The gift that I give myself every time I finish a manuscript is to order character art from one of my favorite artists on DeviantArt. So if you are similar to me in that way, then collecting images that relate to the story that you want to tell will be really helpful in promoting inspiration and getting new ideas. You can either take your own photos, you can create artwork like I do. I draw, I do a bit of painting, mainly watercolor, and then I'm also a graphic artist. I have my Photoshop program and I'm in love with it. So I am creating art. Actually, before I was filming this video, I was creating artwork for a scene in my novel that I just wrote, just because I had the inspiration and the excitement to create it. So by creating these images, I'm boosting my inspiration, I'm boosting my desire to continue working on the novel, and I'm creating new ideas. If you are not an artist, if you don't like art, then maybe you could start a Pinterest board and start collecting a bunch of images from the internet. I had a Pinterest board for my Fire Tongue novel, which is not out yet. I stopped working on it, but it's certainly something that I think I'll go back to in the future. I had an entire Pinterest board of images for that because it took place at a kind of freak show circus, and that is a very visually stimulating kind of environment. So I wanted to look up a lot of photos to get better ideas about how to describe what I wanted the readers to see. And that helped me a lot along the way. So make sure that in some way, whether you're taking them, creating them, or just collecting them, you are gathering kind of a portfolio of images to refer back to when you're ready to start referencing it and creating your outline and eventually writing. My sixth tip is going to be to think carefully of the theme and tone that you want your novel to take on, because really respecting this tone and this theme of your novel is going to help guide you when you're choosing your music, when you're choosing your images, when you're choosing your characters and building everything. One of my favorite authors, Maggie Stiefvater, has written blog posts about how when she is writing, she has to make sure that she's sticking to a certain tone. If she's writing something really dark and mysterious and she finds herself kind of writing a lot of happy-go-lucky kind of scenes, then she knows that she's going a little off track, and then she needs to take that, follow that path back and figure out where she took the wrong direction. So that's what I've been trying to do with my fairy novel. The tone is mysterious and kind of dark and magical. So in the first draft that I was working on, the fairy realm was a very musical, happy, light, and just joyous kind of place. And I knew that that was wrong because that was not the tone and theme that I wanted for my novel. So this time around, I'm trying to keep that tone and theme in mind while I'm writing, and it has helped a lot. And it has certainly helped with gathering music because there are very few songs on my playlist right now that have a lot of like happy, upbeat kind of music. Most of them are dark, ambient, kind of heavy songs, and that's really helpful. So again, going over the 6 tips I have: listen to music, keep a dream journal, keep a small journal or device on you that you can always jot down notes in, get out of the house, collect images, and 6 is going to be remember the theme and tone of your novel. If you keep all of these in mind, you're definitely going to be generating a lot of ideas, and then all it takes is for you to choose the one that you are most inspired by and excited about. You have to narrow it down. And then with that idea, you can start researching and eventually outlining, which I will be doing a how-to video on soon. So thank you everybody for watching. If you have not already watched the first video in the How to Write a Novel series, I'm going to link it right up here. It's about doing all of your research, so definitely take a look at that. And I will be back soon with a new video. All right, everybody, see you later. Bye!